Welcome to NYNJPA Weather, your severe weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Good afternoon. It is Saturday, August 6th, 2011, and this is a special weekend discussion. We'll try to include more Saturday and Sunday discussions going forward. And I wanted to start out with the radar picture, and you can see an area of rainfall currently over central Pennsylvania, slowly moving to the north and east, starting to move a little bit more east than north of the last few hours. But notice, aside from this area of rainfall, we also have an area of rainfall in North Carolina. We have quite a bit of scattered showers and thunderstorms all the way back into the Tennessee River Valley. So we have clearly plenty of rainfall moving towards the northern mid-Atlantic. So what is behind all of these showers? Well, first let's take a look at the water vapor satellite picture, and you can clearly see that we have several disturbances within the flow here. We have one here, one here. We have another disturbance over here, and what we have as separation is the separation, should I say, is between this very tropical and humid air mass over the southeast with the remnants of Tropical Storm Emily possibly regenerating. We'll know about that in the next 24 hours. We have another air mass that is warm, that's not as hot as this air mass, but still very humid with several disturbances moving through it. But also notice we have several areas of weak high pressure. And finally, we have an air mass up in Canada, our Canadian air mass with much drier air behind it. But also notice the cold front is now stationary. It's not making much of an inroads into the warmer and more humid air masses over much of the United States. Now I just wanted to show the upper level winds here, and you could see the upper level ridge in action. You have the northwesterly winds over the northern mid-Atlantic. In fact, when we zoom in, we could see that these northwesterly winds are rather strong and rather impressive for this morning, and you can see they're anywhere between 50 to 80 knots, which again is pretty strong moving through the northern mid-Atlantic, which means that these disturbances will have plenty of support as far as moving through the northern mid-Atlantic. But even more interesting is what we look at when we look at the surface and mid-level features. Notice this is the surface map as of 12 p.m. that we have this area of rainfall, but we really don't have much in the way of an area of low pressure. We have our large ridge over the Atlantic with a south to southwesterly flow over much of the northern mid-Atlantic, and we have these disturbances. Now remember, the upper level winds were from the northwest, so basically we have a pattern that argues against this rain moving very quickly. What I'm basically saying is that the upper level winds are trying to drive this to the south and east, but the mid and lower level winds are pushing up against this area of rainfall from the south, which means that this rainfall is going to move very slowly to the east, but also will continuously be fed Atlantic tropical moisture as it's moving east. So what does that mean? Well, let's take a look at the heavy rainfall potential. Take off the radar. And what I have here in place is a very impressive precipitable water amount. Now what this basically means is the amount of rainfall that can fall from these showers and thunderstorms. And notice they're really concentrated over central Pennsylvania, but there's this bulge towards the northern mid-Atlantic. Why is that the case? Well, we could see that with the 850 millibar winds. Look where the moisture transport's come from. Very impressive moisture transport over the Tennessee River Valley, but we also are starting to get a pretty strong moisture transport over central Pennsylvania. Again, what we're seeing is that at the mid-levels, moisture is being fed into these showers, and as a result, heavy rain is going to be a significant threat for northeastern Pennsylvania down through south central Pennsylvania, with the potential for flash flooding. So what does this mean for the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area, especially if you're right along the coast? Well, I think for much of the afternoon that conditions will remain dry and relatively tranquil. However, as we move into this evening, I think that this area of moisture transport will start to shift towards the coast as our ridge shifts off into the Atlantic. And as a result, we'll see periods of rain tonight. Now, that probably is going to lead to some rather unsettled conditions for the Mets game. So if you are going out there, use some caution because I expect some rainfall for the Mets game. Could be some nice delays, a lengthy delay of the baseball game. What I also want to show here is the precipitation potential placement. Again, this pretty much illustrates what I just said, with the very heavy rainfall in place over these locations. So, going back to the water vapor, again, we have several disturbances approaching from the west. I expect this pattern to continue on through tomorrow, with periods of showers on and off through this weekend. Not everyone will see the rainfall, but the areas that are impacted by these showers will see very heavy downpours. And as a result, if you are under the influence of these showers this afternoon and this evening, be prepared for rainfall amounts that will push over an inch in some isolated locations. And don't be surprised if you experience some flash flooding during this weekend, especially of poorly drained roadways. So that is the weather discussion for Saturday afternoon. I hope everyone enjoys their weekend. And if you can't get out there, I heard there's some excellent movies. So you have that. You have some pretty good movies. So have a great weekend. Thank you for trusting in NYNJPA Weather as your severe weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. To find the latest weather information and severe weather coverage, always trust in nynjpaweather.com or find NYNJPA Weather on Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Have an excellent day.